play calling wise, you guys haven't abandoned the run like that ever since. You guys have really emphasized the run as a whole, but just even mentally for the players, just how much was that loss in particular more of a turning point?
That game week of practice, it just felt different. You know what I mean? I think everyone got kind of relaxed, everyone got kind of complacent, and I really don't. Obviously, I think we're a new team. I think we practice a totally different way now, so it's a lot different. And I think that was the only game, and I think in like the Coach Cristobal era, where we haven't been competitive whatsoever. Like we went out there and it was a really bad. It's really bad for the university, really bad for our team, and I think we've done a lot of stuff in the off season and so far in the season to fix the way we came out. And obviously, it's good. We got an extra week of really getting in the film room and really looking at these guys, and they're a good football team. You know what I mean? And just realizing that, and knowing that we have to come out and give our best to beat them. So,
how much does that serve as, I don't want to say extra motivation? You guys are always motivated, but that clearly sticks in your mind a bit because it wasn't competitive.
Yeah, I think we know we need to do a better job, and I think a lot of it was in the O-line. I think if you watch our game film from last year, it was horrible. It was horrible up front, and I think that's a lot of motivation for us because that we need to put more weight on our shoulders. Being the unit that everybody says we are, we need to really take over this game, and I think that's what we're expected to do every single week. And like you said, it's like we have a 1-0 mentality. Every single week's different. We got to focus on this week, and obviously we got a really good team coming in. So yeah.
How different are they as a defensive line? Because like P.J. Johnson's not there. I think on one play last year he about killed C.J. So how different are they as a defensive line?
I think their linebacker core is one of the best in the country with Colin Schooler, and they got the number one guy. Both true juniors that are really good football players. Two different players, but they're different. I think number one's a great pass rusher, and I think Colin Schooler, he's a good, downhill, type of linebacker. And I think their D-line, they got some experienced guys on there. And the younger guys, they got a lot of twitch. I think they're really good pass rushers, and I think they're really good in their scheme, knowing their gaps and that kind of stuff. So they're a really disciplined football team, man.
How much different is the practices? What is different? You said it's a lot
from
different.
Last year?
Yeah.
Just more physical. You know what I mean? I think we have one part of practice called block destruction. It's literally a lot of teams do one-on-one pass rush and stuff. We do one-on-one run block, and I don't think I've ever seen that anywhere. So that's probably one of the most physical parts of practice, and I think we've never done that. So, and then we do a lot of one-on-one work, ones versus ones. So we open practice 1 versus 1s, run blocking and that kind of stuff, and we finish it off with 1s versus 1s. So that's a lot of stuff we didn't do last year. Halfway through the year last year, we were in shells. Halfway through practice, we're not in shells whatsoever at all this year, and we never did any one-on-one stuff, so it's good.
How's the coaches grade you? Has your grades been going up or staying about the same? Or?
Good. I think overall as a unit, I think we're doing really well. I think obviously we got to get a lot better. You know what I mean? Every single week we want to get a lot better, but our grade's been good across the board, so really happy with that.
Shane, you guys have some work to do, obviously, but for you seniors that have gone through so much, what's it like to be in this position, to be talked about for big things?
We don't even think about that. I think I brought something up to Coach Cristobal, and he really just kept me in check, saying we got to focus on this week and everything like that. So I think as a senior leadership, we need to really put that up on the shelves. You know what I mean? And knowing that our time's coming to an end here, but at the same time, we have so much to do here still, and we really got to emphasize them this week and get it done. So
last 3 or 4 weeks, the offense has been operating at a really high level. Is a bye week almost counterintuitive because you don't want to get out of that rhythm? Or was this a week where it's like, hey, we really needed some rest and just self-scout?
I think bye week's always good. Really, to get your mind off football, to get your body back, and all that kind of stuff. At the same time, we did a really good job yesterday or Sunday of really going full speed, because that's like not a normal Sunday. Sunday's usually a walkthrough, and we had basically half a normal practice on Sunday, so it really let it loose and open up. And then today it was full speed. It felt like we didn't miss. So I feel like the Cal week, after coming off to that bye week, we had 3 turnovers in the first half and like that. So we're really emphasizing just practicing right, getting all the sloppiness out. So yeah.
Due to injuries, you guys have used a lot of different tight ends, a lot of different receivers, even 4 running backs. What's been the key to being consistent with all that?
Next man up, you know what I mean? I think it's expected if one of the ones O-line drop out that we have a guy that's coming in ready, and I know they do a good job in their room. I know Jake Breland, even though he's not out there, he's really helping those younger guys develop and be ready to play. And the same thing with the running backs. We have the best running back room in the nation. You know what I mean? We got Cyrus, we got CJ, all those kind of guys. They're all great runners, and they all have little different niches to them. So plug and play. You know what I mean? That's how it is.
How good is that for chemistry when Felix does something after not doing anything for a few weeks, or Jawan comes back?
Good. I know they take a lot of beatings. I think CJ's got a crazy amount of carries so far, and I think it's good to kind of give those guys a break. So yeah, it's probably good for them.
Another good answer.
I got it.
Okay. the other three seniors that you came in with, could you give a brief sentence description of Calvin and Brady and Jake?
I say Cal's the brains. I think Brady's let me think. He's always been ready no matter what his position was on the depth chart. So I guess he's resilient. I guess Jake would be I guess a shot caller. He's like the guy in the band that's blowing the whistle, getting us all ready to go. Yeah, so I guess we all have little different things to us.
Right. Yeah. And what would you say for yourself?
I'd like to think I'm the enforcer, I guess, kind of the mauler. I guess that's what I say I was. I don't know. Well, you have to ask them.
Okay, thank you.
Panay is obviously not with your guys' class, but what was it like? You know, you have Tyrell Crosby, who's an NFL player, for this kid to come in and replace him.
I've been extremely blessed with my left tackles that I've been around playing so far this year, and obviously Tyrell is great, but I think Panay, is one in a lifetime player. I think he's, obviously everyone hypes him up, but I think it's very well deserved for him, and he's an extremely talented worker. The chemistry we've built in this short amount of time is really compared to nothing I've ever had, and I'm just really excited for him in the future, and excited for these last few games with him. So.
How have you seen Justin mature kind of mentally and emotionally over the course of this year?
Yeah, I think he doesn't flinch. You know what I mean? I seen him on the sidelines our redshirt freshman years, and you can tell kind of if they're a pick. It'd kind of be hard on him. But now, I almost look to him when I feel, if I ever feel any concern or whatever, I look at his body language, because I know his body language is what the rest of the team is going to look at, and I need to follow suit. So I think his body language and the way he carries himself, it's always positive. I think he does a lot positive reinforcement. Even if we're not out and the defense is on the field, special teams on the field, he's always the first one clapping them up, encouraging them. So I think he's a great team leader, and I think he's obviously the voice of our offense. So.
Do you see him sort of pushing himself to be more vocal? Because I know it doesn't come naturally to him,
Yeah. I think when he was younger, I think he thought that obviously the quarterback position demands a lot of leadership and a lot of command, and I think that he felt uncomfortable at first doing that, but now I think it's natural the way it's coming out. You can tell if someone's hyping up a team. You can tell if it's natural or if it's forced. You know what I mean? And now it feels natural, but beforehand it felt a little forced. But I think you have to go through that process to become. You know what I mean? Especially me. I'm not a natural outspoken guy, so I had to kind of practice my way into being that. So.
Do you think you have to be that guy in order to be a great quarterback, or
I don't think so, but I think a lot of people in the country probably believe that, and I think Justin felt that a little bit. But just the way even if he's not a vocal guy, I think just the way he leads by example, the way on Mondays, our day off, he's in the film room all day long. So I think everybody sees that and really wants to rely on him, and especially wants to match his effort in the week. So.
I know he's not on social media, but do you guys share any of the critiques of him that are out there, from scouts and things like that?
No, he doesn't want to hear it. You know what I mean? And I think that's really cool that he, doesn't. A lot of people have the fear of missing out, if they're not on Twitter, if they're not on that kind of stuff, and it just, it bewilders me that he doesn't even think about that. So he doesn't, and that's good too. You don't want to get lost in the stuff on social media and all that kind of stuff, and I think that really keeps his head right too. So.
Yeah. You have an example of him when he was most vocal in a game this year?
Was
that
probably
due to anger or just
it's
encouraging?
Yeah, it's encouraging. It's never anger. You know what I mean? It's always. I remember the USC game said another day at the office. You know what I mean? First series, another day at the office. And he kept repeating that, and then if we had a bad play, it was always press that reset button on the table. Imagine that reset button. Press that down. And even when we were coming, I think we were at 52, he's like, reset button, we're not done yet, reset button. So whether it was good or bad, he was still, resetting his brain and trying to get his body and his mind back to, performing at a high level, no matter the circumstance. And, if we had a bad, the first quarter was really bad against USC. We were tripping up a lot. And, it was the same mentality. Every single time we never looked at the scoreboard. He never mentioned, like, guys, we got to go. It was always just keep grinding, keep hammering, it'll come. And it did come. And he was the same way the whole entire game. So. It shows a lot about his composure and stuff.
Is that literally what he says? Is reset button?
Reset button. That's what he says.
Yeah.
And him and I before every single game say another day in the office. That's what him and I always say, and he repeats that to me, and that kind of settles me down too. You know what I mean? So no matter how big the stage is, no matter anything, he's always helping me in the back of my mind, saying this is just another day at the practice. Is out here at the HCC practice fields, and that really calms me down. So yeah.
Was it nice to see Shuck not only come in and just hand off and finish the game, but to deal a little bit?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. You don't see quarterbacks do that a lot. And that was pretty phenomenal. That shows how much of a team guy he is and how much he is going to be a big part of this program going in the future. So I'm really excited for him.
Came over here a little late, but reflecting back on last year's game at Tucson,
yeah.
What happened? I guess that first quarter was rough. What do you kind of remember about that, and what do you carry this year from that game?
I just think, I put a lot of it on the offensive line. I don't think we were clicking. I don't think our practices were nearly the same as it was this year. Looking back now, I think it was a lot less physical last year. And, I think at that point in the season, we were a little slouched back. We weren't, as, dialed in to every single opponent like we are now. Like every week we have, 1-0 mindset. No matter who we're playing, we're going to give our practices the most, and we're going to go full speed in practice no matter who we're playing. And I think we saw, a lesser opponent, whatsoever, and we looked at our opponents differently last year. And I think that determined our practice habits. And I think it was just, it was a bad week. It was a bad week of practice. I remember before the game, Coach Cristobal mentioned something to me like, this just doesn't feel right, and I think it showed in the game. It was offensive line obviously wasn't doing very good with our communication, and we weren't playing physical, and that was one of the biggest games in my career where, especially, we weren't competitive whatsoever. Like it was right off the bat, it was bad, and I think now we're a more resilient football team. And if you could look at USC that first quarter. I don't want to look back, but it shows how resilient this football team is, especially our offense. So. We just got to prepare. We just got to prepare, man.
Can you usually tell before a game based on practice that feeling, and how did it feel before the USC game this year?
If we do good or bad in a game, it always looks back to our our Tuesday, Wednesday practice. That's how we always talk around here, and that's true. It's not just words too. If we have a bad Tuesday, Wednesday practice, there's usually a weird feeling in the air, like okay, our Thursday, Friday need to be more than it usually is, and. So that's usually the tone setter for our game.
So be literal about it. Looks like the first quarter of your practices weren't too good, but the last three quarters were good.
No, really. I mean, I think
that's taking it a little.
Yeah, well, the outline of our practices too. The start it's always turbo, so we're going fast, and then we always end with a 2-minute. So we've actually had a lot of 2-minute instances in this season so far, and I think that shows. So.